At first, the Burrows feels like a mystery series about a strange retirement community hiding dark secrets underneath its peaceful image. There are creatures in the walls, missing memories, underground tunnels, and a group of elderly residents slowly realizing that something is deeply wrong with the place they now call home. But as the season continues, it becomes clear that the sci-fi and horror elements are really just a way for the show to explore aging, grief, memory, and the fear of death. Sam Cooper enters the story emotionally broken after the death of his wife Lily. Moving into the Burrows doesn't feel like a fresh start for him. It feels more like surrender. He's disconnected from his daughter Claire, isolated from the world around him, and trapped inside grief. That emotional vulnerability becomes important later because it allows Mother to connect with him in a way she can't connect with Blaine. Throughout the season, Sam constantly sees visions of Lily, and we're meant to question whether these visions are supernatural or signs that Sam is mentally deteriorating. That uncertainty becomes one of the season's biggest themes. The show constantly blurs the line between truth and mental instability. Edward sounds insane when he talks about monsters in the walls, but he's telling the truth. Sam sounds paranoid when he talks about creatures and conspiracies, but he's right about that as well. Even Claire begins believing her father may be losing his mind because Blaine manipulates her fears about aging and dementia. What makes Sam different from Blaine is that grief never completely destroys his empathy. He becomes obsessed with uncovering the truth, but he still sees suffering where Blaine only sees opportunity. That emotional openness is ultimately why Mother reaches out to him. The setting itself is one of the most important parts of the story because the Burrows isn't just a retirement community. It represents denial. Everything about the place is designed to create comfort. The houses are clean, the community events feel cheerful, and the residents are encouraged to believe they're entering a peaceful final chapter of life. But underneath that image is an entire system built on exploitation. That's why the underground tunnels matter so much symbolically. The show constantly contrasts the peaceful surface world with the horrifying reality underneath it. Above ground, the Burrows look safe and welcoming. Below ground, people are being drained, experimented on, and sacrificed to sustain immortality. Lily Cooper is physically absent throughout the season, but emotionally, she's everywhere. She represents unfinished grief and the inability to fully let go of the past. Every time Sam sees her, the show reminds us that grief doesn't just go away. Memories interrupt everyday life unexpectedly, especially when someone is emotionally lost. The glitching effect connected to Lily becomes one of the most important symbols in the series. It represents reality becoming unstable for Sam as the past constantly bleeds into the present. The show also connects these glitches to old televisions, which is important because Sam surrounds himself with old TVs almost like he's surrounding himself with memories. Later in the season, those same televisions become weapons capable of exposing the monster's true forms. That's not accidental. The TVs represent hidden truth breaking through illusion. The same memories that trapped Sam emotionally eventually help expose the corruption surrounding him. The monsters in the Burrows are terrifying, but symbolically, they represent something very human. The creatures feed on cerebrospinal fluid, meaning they literally feed on the minds and nervous systems of elderly residents. That detail connects directly to the season's focus on dementia, Alzheimer's, and cognitive decline. The monsters symbolize the fear of losing memory, identity, and mental clarity. They slowly drain away what makes people themselves. This is why Edward is so important early in the story. Edward is dismissed because of his dementia, but the show later reveals that his warnings were real. He knew the truth long before anyone else did, but nobody listened because they assumed his mind was failing. By the end of the season, the creatures themselves become more tragic than evil. Mother's children are part of a larger system created by people who are desperate to survive forever. Blaine Shaw is one of the most interesting parts of the series because he isn't driven by power in the traditional sense. He's driven by fear. Everything about his character comes back to his inability to accept death. Losing his wife clearly broke him emotionally, but instead of learning how to process grief, Blaine became obsessed with defeating mortality itself. Over time, that obsession slowly erased his humanity. By the present-day story, residents are no longer people to him. Their resources used to sustain Mother, whose blood keeps him and Annalise alive. That's why the show treats immortality almost like a disease. Blaine technically defeats aging, but spiritually and emotionally, he becomes hollow. He has lived so long that compassion matters less to him than survival. The disturbing part is that his fear feels understandable. Most people fear death. Most people would struggle to reject eternal life if it were offered to them. The show understands that temptation, which is why Blaine works so well as a villain. Wally and Art both represent different versions of the same temptation. Wally is tempted intellectually. Once he discovers that Mother's blood can stop aging and cure illness, he begins convincing himself that immortality could save humanity. His intentions are understandable because he's dying from cancer, but the more he focuses on scientific possibility, the less he considers the ethical cost. Art's storyline explores the same idea emotionally through the magical peach. The fruit temporarily restores his youth, strength, and vitality, making him feel alive again. At first it feels exciting, but eventually it becomes horrifying because Art grows desperate to maintain that feeling. The peach represents artificial youth. It offers temporary escape from aging, but it can't truly stop time. That mirrors Blaine's storyline perfectly. Both men are trying to escape mortality, but the season repeatedly shows that refusing to accept aging only creates suffering. Mother initially appears terrifying, but the final episodes completely reframe her role. Mother isn't really the villain. She's a prisoner. Humans discovered her, exploited her abilities, and built an entire immortality system around her suffering. Even her children became tools used to drain innocent residents. That twist changes the meaning of the entire season because it reveals that humanity created most of the horror. Mother eventually chooses death because she understands something Blaine never could. Endless existence without peace isn't really living. Her desire to return to the caves and die alongside her children becomes symbolic of finally breaking the cycle of exploitation once and for all. The finale brings all of the season's themes together through one central idea: letting go. Almost every major conflict exists because somebody refuses to accept loss. Blaine refuses to accept death. Sam refuses to let go of Lily. Wally refuses to let go of scientific possibility, and Art refuses to let go of youth. By the end, the surviving characters finally understand that trying to control death only creates more suffering. That's why Mother's explosion matters symbolically. It destroys the entire immortality system and ends the cycle permanently. At the same time, the finale gives Sam emotional closure with Lily. Their final dance to Thunder Road isn't really about resurrection. It's about acceptance. Earlier in the season, Sam was emotionally trapped inside grief. The dance allows him to finally say goodbye properly. The ending intentionally leaves Sam's fate ambiguous. The glitch in the mirror suggests his connection to Mother may still exist somehow, and it's possible that he died in the caves. But emotionally, the literal answer matters less than what the ending represents. For the first time all season, the surviving characters are no longer controlled by fear. The monsters are gone, the exploitation system has collapsed, and the cycle finally ended. Instead of desperately trying to escape death, they're finally able to live. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.